Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this is going to be my review for the movie called The Possession of Hannah Grace. The Possession of Hannah Grace. It is a 2018 film. I just saw it in theater today. It's rated R. It runs an hour and 25 minutes. One of the shorter movies probably ever, but it is directed by Deirdre Van Rooyen. It stars Mitchell, Gray Damon, Kirby Johnson, Nick Thune, and Louise Herthum. Herthum, maybe. And the description: a shocking exorcism. Big surprise, right? You knew it was about that. It spirals out of control, claiming the life of a young woman. Months later, which is a surprise that they go to that, Megan Reed is working the graveyard shift in the morgue when she takes delivery of a disfigured cadaver. Locked alone inside the basement corridors, Megan begins to experience horrifying visions and starts to suspect that the body may be possessed by a ruthless demonic force. So, that's 411 on the situation. Um, I'm just going to go off the description because that kind of tells you probably more than I wanted to. And that's the description of the movie. It's what people know going in. So, the first surprising thing about this, and I did hear some chatter about this just on Facebook and everything too, is that this is probably one of the more interesting exorcism movies that you'll ever see because it tells what happens after this exorcism. It doesn't wait till the end of the movie for the final showdown between priest and demon. It goes a totally different route and has the exorcism at the beginning of the movie. And everybody kind of knew that going in, so it's no surprise. But it's a really cool way to handle it, I think. And I don't know if I'd want to see a bunch of movies coming after this that would be doing the same strategy, but to be original and to be new and to come along, and we didn't really know this movie was coming along. It was really a surprise for it to come out and then to be different. I think was very effective. So yeah, as far as the interesting fact goes, um, the way they handle this movie, they get to throw in some, kind of relationship problems, and they get to throw in some backtracking on the storyline and tell you what's going on and what's happening to Megan and what's happening to the father of the girl that had the exorcism, Hannah. So there's a lot of storyline to this. It's not just about an exorcism, which is kind of new for an exorcism movie, also, to be a little bit more deep and not just about one little thing at the end of the movie and kind of the big showdown. So there's a lot to it. I don't know if all of it is good, but it's original and it's fine. The thing that kind of gets to me once they start the storyline part of the movie is a couple things being a little hazy. And the haziness is that what Megan has happened to her before she starts working at the morgue. That's about probably all I can say without giving too much away. But I think it was fine. The way I watched it was fine. I enjoyed it and I thought it was cool. And, so what? They took a little bit more time to explain something. And the movie was really short, anyways. So they had to take time to explain something to make it a little bit longer. So I don't know how you draw this movie out much more So I think they were stretching for time as it is. So if anybody complains that certain parts of the movie were a little bit redundant, I think I would understand that, but I would also counter with how are you going to stretch out a movie when it's so short? You got to stretch it out somehow. So the thing that did bother me once the storyline got going was that everybody really, really wanted to tell Megan that people that used to work at the morgue before her, that they've had quite the turnover, that not everybody's cut out for it, that, they don't know if she'll have the stomach for it, that she needs to, take care of herself and think about herself and maybe, just it's ongoing. It's a circle of those comments, and I just don't understand why they had to have that same conversation about 12 times. But like I said, I kind of dealt with the redundancy for the really cool parts of the movie, and there were a lot of them. So, this being such an original movie, the beginning is really cool, the ending is really cool. It has a couple things happen where you're like, oh no, no. Like you're cheering for that character, and then, yeah, something happens. And I just love how it was handled. I mean, I just enjoyed watching this, and I do have to be a little bit fair and say that I'd say the first half an hour or so, I was more laughing at the scary things, but there were so many of them that maybe it was just a little bit too expected, but they were still good scares. Like I could tell what they were doing was very fluid and very handled correctly. Like, it was timed appropriately. Uh, Pounds on the glass and lights not turning on. And it's just all, I think it was, I'm a big fan of like good scary movies like Saw and Resident Evil and stuff. That's the ones I always push. And I just like the fluid motion of the Saw movies. And I saw that today in The Possession of Hannah Grace. And I just love that way of handling a movie. I can just tell that when I'm watching, the people behind the scenes know what the heck they're doing. And I appreciate that so much. So everything about this movie was just handled wonderfully, and I liked the camera angles and the timing of the lights in the hallway. I mean, just I could have appreciated a little bit more common sense by the characters once stuff started happening, but you know, uh, that was their approach to the movie, I guess. And once the stuff did hit the fan, then people did, kind of bear down and grit their teeth and do something. But it just took so long for that to figure it out. So yeah, I mean, they could have drawn it out a little bit more. They could have done a little bit more with this supposed fast forward of a couple months. Maybe they could have used that a little bit more. But yeah, as far as the beginning and the end go, I appreciate how they handled those. I appreciate conclusion of the movie. I always appreciate that. So um, I can't explain why I feel a certain way that I feel, but just sitting there and kind of laughing at some of the things that were supposed to be scary and some of the things that the characters said just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But other than that, I just enjoyed this film the whole time I was watching it, and I just loved the originality of it. So I'm going to give it the highest grade I can give it without saying it was one of the best movies of the year, and that's a B plus. So a B plus for The Possession of Hannah Grace. I totally suggest giving it a watch, putting it in your library for future viewings. I would love to own it. I would love to watch it again. Maybe watching it at home might be a little scarier, I just think in the theater, maybe people's reactions weren't exactly appropriate. So, yeah, totally suggest this movie. Give it a try, give it a shot, put it in your memory bank, and I really actually liked it. I really did. I just can't quite give it an A, but without you seeing it, I can't explain to you why it's not an A movie. So that's all I can say for now. Thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would, and enjoy your movies. Thanks.